Everyone rejoice! Dana and John are friends again. Levi convinces Tim to speak with Abby before she spirals even more. Cash learns about Eden and Tim's relationship, bringing out his inner investigator. Remi gets news about a family windfall heading his way, but he's torn about how to spend it. And finally, what's a little white lie between love rivals, eh?
Okay, so I'm a cop, right? And it's my job to pull people over when I see them doing the wrong thing.
Do you think I'm stupid? You barely speak to me for months, and then the day after you find out I'm seeing someone, you just happen to pull him over and give him the third degree for not indicating?
Lucky you, I'm still looking out for you.
Oh, please, this was obviously some big power trip for you.
Look, he's Abigail's counsellor. Yeah, so is there any part of you that maybe feels that that's wrong?
So you and Abby have obviously been having a really good chat.
Do you know anything about the guy?
I waited. I tried. I did everything I could to save our relationship, and you wanted nothing to do with me. So I did what you wanted. I moved on. What I do and who I do it with is none of your business.
Eden.
I mean it, Cash. You gave up your right to be a part of my life, and if I had any doubt, today has proven that I made the right choice.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Right, we're going to talk about it.
Oh.
Can you see what I can see?
I'm confused, so I'm going to say no.
Well, there's a big $5 million elephant over there.
Oh, $5 million elephant in the room.
I
told you he was a good one, didn't I?
You did. I backed the wrong horse.
You did. Oh dear, dear. You can't jump on the bandwagon now.
No,
I've been on the Remi bandwagon for 2 years, mate. Get in the back of the queue.
In every other case, I jump on it. The bandwagon, that is.
Oh dear.
How are you? Are you okay?
Good. How are you?
All right. Back at it again. It feels like yesterday.
I know. It does.
This has been busy week. But
it's been a very quick week, yeah. Crazy.
But we're here and we're back at it. We're back at
Yay.
it. Thoughts on home and away this week?
Again, the last couple of weeks, I just feel like it's been all over the shop, and I'm struggling to kind of grasp any kind of longevity storyline that's going on at the moment. I just feel like I'm being dragged all over the place. And I'm struggling to kind of work out what's going on and why we're doing something. You know, like the whole Leah and Justin and the wedding ring thing last week was just like, where's this come from? And then that spilled into this week as well. And I was like, why are we still talking about this? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, you were right about that though, weren't you? It was Marilyn upholding doth vows. Yeah.
I think we talked about that off air actually, didn't we? Because I think I don't know whether we included it in last week's ep or whether we talked about it afterwards. But I remember saying, I don't think we did. Yeah. I think we talked about it off air, and I said to you, what the hell was all that wedding ring shit going on about? And I think I said something like, was it to do with the vows? Like the fact that Marilyn's, can now say Leah's lying to Justin, and that's not what she said she was going to do. And she, I think we talked about that last week when we were just before we did First Look, but I think that was off air.
Oh, right.
And the reason why we discounted it because we were like, oh, well, that's just like a random bit 10-minute sort of plot that didn't go anywhere. And then it came up again this week, and I was like, okay, so we're still talking about this. Weird. I don't know. I just feel like there are lots of little things going on. Obviously, the Cash and Tim stuff is kicking off now, so that's good.
I'm gonna say I really enjoyed it because things feel like they're crescendoing a bit.
Yeah.
Feel
like
a
we're
bit
going
more confrontation.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good week actually. But like you say, because of how busy you were, you have binged. So maybe how you
Yeah.
watch it helps with sort of how you assess the
think it
week on a higher
does.
level.
I think
Yeah.
it does. I think when I've got more time to watch it, like if I watch it every night at 6:30 and I'm just sat there just absorbing it and just in the moment, I think I enjoy it more. The weeks when I'm really busy and I'm having to watch it, like I've got to watch this today, got to watch 4
Yeah.
episodes today because I've got to talk about them tomorrow. I don't think I
Yeah.
enjoy it as much because I feel
No.
it's like a to-do list and I'm trying to tick it off my to-do list.
Yeah,
if you
you're
see what
just
I mean.
rushing through it to get it done,
Yeah.
aren't you? So yeah, which isn't the way to savor this show. But yeah,
It's not.
it won't always be like that. I must say, the listeners have cottoned on about who's who.
You talking about the tweets? I think you did the tweets along for the first 3 nights this week, and I did Thursday night, didn't I? I did Thursday and Friday night, and I said something about Cash, I think, and then Julie said, "Is this Soph?" I was like, "Yes, it's me. It's not the Marley stalker."
The night before she went, "This is Silas," and I was like, "Maybe." So yeah. We're keeping them on their toes anyway. Do you know what I mean? So
Well, I did say to Jamie, I think it was last week actually. I was tweeting something, and I tweeted about Marley. I can't remember. I said something anyway, and Jamie said, "Oh, this must be Soph because yesterday's tweets were more positive or something about him." And I was like, "Yeah, it's me. And I said, "I'm really sorry, but this account's going to feel like it's got split personality because one night you're going to be there going, 'Isn't Marley great?' And I'm going to be there the next night going, 'No, he's a miserable beige, boring.'" It's going to be like, what do they think? But I think people have cottoned on. It's all
yeah,
good.
they know
It's
us
all
now.
good.
You see, this is the problem. You know, they know what we're
Scary.
like. Yeah,
Scary.
I know.
Apologies.
You know me better than I know myself.
Oh dear.
Yes. So we're keeping her on the toes. It's all good. Now it's the month of love, and yesterday was Valentine's Day. Every month's the month of love with us. And I went and stopped by another podcast.
Yes.
Yesterday, I went and stopped by the Pop Goes the Tam Tam podcast with the lovely Tamsin, and we talked all about home and away couples on her shipping series on her podcast. So the first time, she's a massive Home and Away fan, watched it for donkey's years, talks to us all the time about the show. She's been on here before as well, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And will be on again at some point. So she knows the show, she loves the show, and it's always great talking with her about it. She's never had it on a podcast before, so it was so honored to debut Home and Away to her listeners. So we go and have a listen. We'll put the link in this episode description. I've chosen 4 couples to discuss, my favorite couples from Home and Away history. Have you checked it out yet? Because I know we're recording this on the day it's only gone to air. You've not heard it yet, have you?
I've been at work, so it's on my list.
What couples do you reckon I went with?
That's really hard because obviously 35 years worth of couples. So I'd need to think about it. I'm trying to think what we've done a couples episode before, haven't we? Versus with the neighbours boys from the neighborhood rewatch. So I'm wondering whether you used some of the couples that we had in that, which I think we had Flick and Tane, and I'm thinking old school. Who did we have? I actually can't remember now. Did we have Leah? Did we have Leah and Vinny?
We did actually, but I didn't choose Leah and Vinny for this one. I did choose Flick and Tane though, so well done.
Good.
That was one of my choices, and there are 3 more, so go and check it out, dear listener.
Nice.
Because it's really good to go back and chat about some of my favourite couples, just to celebrate. I nearly said Halloween.
Halloween, not Halloween.
I thought you would celebrate.
I do.
Valentine's Day. That's the one.
Yeah. Oh, see, I don't like Valentine's Day. I do love Halloween. I love Halloween. That's the best one. Yeah.
And you could still get a kiss on Halloween, couldn't you?
Yes, it's all about the kissing and I want to drink your blood. Yeah. Yes.
Before we get into this week's home and away as well, I just wanted. We don't do this very often, and this is. I haven't told you this either, so this is like news to you too.
Oh God! I've just
bad.
spat wine out of my, on my hand.
Oh God! Careful, the tax the tax has gone up.
That was about 50p's worth, love.
Yeah, the wine tax has gone up. Don't waste it. No, it's just to say congratulations, Sophie, because
what
we have had one of our strongest Januaries on record. We've only done 5 of them, but we've had our strongest one on record. Sometimes it takes a little while to get going again, after the break for us.
Yeah. Yes.
And probably for the show, but we came out of the gate guns blazing. And the numbers are like the best January we've had. So well done.
Wow. Oh, congratulations. Thank you, everybody, for listening. That's amazing.
Yeah. It doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, we don't pay too much. We don't talk about it that often, but we don't pay too much attention. Hopefully it shows, but it is nice to sort of look and think, people are responding well to it.
Oh, that's lovely.
So thank you for your support, and continue to come back if you enjoy it as much as we do. Do you want to talk about some home and away this week?
Yes, let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Okie dokie. So beginning of the week, Alf is banging John and Dana's head together, isn't he? Metaphorically, thankfully. And as she has to do, Rue comes in and she ends up sort of taking over and saying she'll deal with it, like Alf's not capable of sorting out a little argument between 2 lifeguards, like he's not been there before in these 80 odd years living here. Do you know what I mean? I was just thinking, Rue, you have to be part of this. Leave it with me, she said. I'll think of something. And she takes them both out to dinner, and well, on the Surf Club account, I must say. And Dana ends up showing up, and John is far from happy. He's been ambushed. He thought he was coming out for dinner with Rue, and now he's going to have to sit there and have dinner with Dana, whom we've been critical of lately because she's been a bit out, nasty and a bit out of order with him, hasn't she? There's multiple apologies again. They're eating in silence. She reiterates her apologies, which I think was good. And I remember saying to you, because president of the Dana fan club, I've got to give her the benefit of the doubt to some extent, just through sheer loyalty. But I said to you, I think she's capable of growing from it, and learning from it. And they have this beautiful conversation, don't they? Sat on that blooming salt balcony, which is my favourite location in the whole show. So obviously I was eating this up. I was lapping it up, Soph. And she says, you've been a big part of making Summer Bay feel like home for me. I obviously talk shit, right? And that's my personality. So, and I'm sorry that didn't come across. He starts to listen, because those things, if there's one thing how to get John on side, it's massage his ego, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
So, and he bites back, doesn't he? I must say, my favourite line of the week says, "You've grown on me like a barnacle." And she's doing, you're like a father to me, which, considering her backstory, is actually quite a compliment, I would say. So she promises him that she's going to be better from now on. And I thought, do you know what? Own it, girl. I do genuinely believe you. And we can draw a line under this and have John and Dana back. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
were you buying it?
This scene was lovely, and I wanted it to reach this conclusion, because I didn't want weeks of them two falling out, and I didn't want to see John be miserable. It's horrible. We like John, he's the light relief, he's the comedy, he's the one that we can like get a joke and a smile from, and having him miserable is just breaks your heart, doesn't it? So
it does. Yeah.
I needed to see this being resolved. I was a little bit miffed about how it first sort of came to discussion with Rue and Alf, Mr. Stewart, to you, because she said something like, "Oh, I said something and I've offended him," and they didn't get to hear what she'd said. And I kind of feel like John needed some validation that what Dana said was really out of order, actually. And she needed to hear that she was really out of order and she shouldn't have said it. I know she knows that, but I think she needed to hear it from a third party to say,
Oh, like
I was
saying to her,
yeah,
that was out of
that's
hand, below the belt
that's
cow.
yeah, definitely. Like, and you should know better than that, and you should know better than saying that about your employer in the middle of your place of employment in your uniform. I wanted her to get told off really by someone that wasn't John, just to hammer home the fact that she was horrible in that situation. And then have it resolved, and then say, right, well, you shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have done it in this way. But it's happened now, and we need to get past it. And I just needed to see that, and it didn't happen that way.
Okay, yeah, I take you. Probably a time thing and how fast paced the storyline is, but
definitely.
there's probably a reason. We could probably find a reason in there. But do you know what? I hear you. If she. And then she could have been sort of tail between her legs. I've had her telling off by someone third party.
Yeah,
that would have been a good scene, actually.
I just think the fact what she'd said to him was so bad. I think it needed addressing. It wasn't like she'd said something like, "Oh, you fuddy duddy," or you know what I mean. She called him a misogynistic old pig, basically, and a dinosaur. And I thought, oh, it's quite a horrible thing to call someone.
It is. And in public, you brought that up last week on the podcast when this obviously came about on screen last week. She did it in public in front of, paying guests. So very unprofessional. And seemingly she's gotten away with it now because of an apology and a meal. There are no consequences, are there? There's no professional consequences, should I say? No warning or anything like that about her conduct at work or what have you. So I do take it. I do genuinely think she is shook by it, and I think it's a bit of a wake-up call to her.
Yeah.
I do buy that, and I do buy that if she says I'll try and be better, I do think she genuinely will try. I think she's realised that her mouth running away with her can cost her a dear friendship. I try and think of things in my own life as well, because there's been sort of conflict in my own friendship groups over the years, and without going off the tangent majorly, and there's a big wires crossed moment because someone's told somebody that what's been said about them behind the back, but actually what's been said because of that person's personality is quite jovial and quite jokey, like she's a bit of a nosy bitch or whatever, and then it's got back to him that such a way has been calling you a nasty nosy bitch behind your back, and that sounds worse than what actually happened. I don't think that's the case here, because genuinely Dana was really upset about it, and was quite fired in her wording. So it's not like someone misunderstanding a joke one day because they're in a bad mood. She did say those things with conviction. She's apologized. She's owned it. She says she's going to change. I guess we'll have to give her that chance, won't we?
Yeah. I mean, if John's willing to, I'm willing to as well.
Thank you, Sophie. Much appreciated. Much obliged.
Oh dear.
Right, so somebody else who's after second chances, Abs, elsewhere in the bay. Levi's worrying about her. Gets home, finds her reading her journal, mocking it even, I would say, as she's looking back on her failed attempt at therapy. And he tries to talk her back round to going back to a counsellor, doesn't he? I think this is more about Levi panicking here about what now, because without a counsellor, she might get back on the smack again, back on the game, back in that brothel, And she says this all just proves that talk gets you nowhere. One of those bite-sized clips, clip it, publish it. Talking gets you nowhere. And everyone around you's telling you talking's everything. not in her experience. So he's like, well, what's your plan? Like, what we're going to do? She's not having a bar of it, is she? She's like, I'm not going to counselling. Get off my back. That is that, in the juvenile way that she does, and storms out. So Levi is left quite shook, isn't he, this week about and I'm panicking about he's got two sisters at war, one sleeping with the other's therapy, one doesn't know, everyone knows a secret apart from her. Ticking time bomb, isn't it? This, and we're all waiting with bated breath about when it's going to explode. And in your words last week, Sophie, this is going to be one almighty fallout when it happens. Boy, is it. So Mac tries to say, look, it might be time to tell her. Why's Tim left? She's a big gal. She can handle it. And I must say, at that point, I was saying to the telly, yes, actually, I think you might be right, Mac. And I don't often say that. I thought, Mac, it might be time just to give her the truth. Give her more credit, Mac says. But Levi finds the journal in the bin the next morning, all scribbled up, and she's MIA, missing. And then everyone panics because she's not in bed, and the journal's scribbled. She's just gone to work, Sophie. Just gone to work.
Just doing this now.
Doing this. I was like, oh, right, we're not going for a manhunt. She's not on the edge of a cliff or, setting fires somewhere. She just went to work.
I kind of thought she would be somewhere where either Marley or Theo would be, I'll be honest, at that point. I didn't think she'd gone far. I didn't think she was like, ready to jump off Stuart's point or anything like that. I thought, okay, she's either with Marley or she's with Theo. There'll be a bloke involved either way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, of course it's Marley, though, because he's really good with her nowadays. He's talking to her. He seems to get through to her. Obviously he's got this unrequited love for her right now. And he's the only one that she seems to be listening to, or that she's opened up to a bit, which is quite nice that she's gone there. So yes, you're right, had to be one of them. I must say, Theo showing up and asking them for a game of pool and things in front of Marley was a bit like, oh God. Oh
yeah, but he doesn't know.
I know. I picked the cushion up. I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to watch from behind the cushion.
Yeah, but I got the impression that Abby was more into Theo than. I don't even think she realizes that Marley's a contender for her affection right now. Does she even have him on her radar?
Well, she doesn't seem to, does she? This has been a bit of a chat online, during the tweet along this week.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people are saying she suits Theo better for a romantic pairing. But is that because Theo is young? Is Theo younger though? The age thing is really confusing.
Baffling. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't place any of their ages because their personality, like Theo's really mature now. Like he wasn't when he first came into the show, let's be honest, he wasn't. But now he's really mature. Like I'd say he was more mature than Marley and more mature than Abby, obviously. Abby is the most immature out of the three of them. But if you told me they were all the same age, I'd buy that as well, because I don't know. I haven't got a clue how old they are. So it's difficult. But I don't see at the moment, obviously I can see that Marley is into Abby in a big way. And I can see that Abby's looking at Theo like, okay, I'm interested. And Theo's obviously looking at Abby thinking, okay, I'm interested. But I don't see Abby actually considering Marley as a potential. It just seems to be like he's a friend and a housemate at the moment. I don't think she's seeing like a romantic thing there, unless I've missed it.
No, I completely agree. In fact, I'm watching this thinking Kirby and Marley would suit way better.
Yeah, that makes more sense than Abby and Marley, I'll be honest. Yeah, it does.
And there ends up being this moment where Marley gets very jealous and crucially jealous, actually, because Theo, like, quite, he's quite innocent in his actions. He's not got a clue. She's not got a clue, as we've just ascertained.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's asking Marley as a friend, like, I think she's into me or what, like as bros do. And Marley's like, listen, mate, she's got she's got a boyfriend. And I must say, this made Marley way more interested. I mean, I didn't need convincing, but
Oh,
Sophie,
I'm gonna have to get the cold water out.
And the back book. 10 extra points because he told a lie to get the gal, and even people online were saying, "Oh, okay, I have to admit he's more interested now because he's he's willing to step on a boy to get the girl."
Right, who was saying this? I'm making
it was Jamie. It was Jamie.
Right, I'm in 15th of February. Okay,
don't
Jamie.
Can't hide, Jamie. But just come over to the dark side. Sophie, you've got look. It was a proper dick move, right? You've got that
It
bit.
was.
It was good telling.
I did enjoy it. I love these. I love the love triangle things in soaps are brilliant, aren't they? I'll be honest. I do love this kind of stuff. I love the love rival things. I do love a bad boy. I'll be honest. This was quite funny. But I'm still not a Marley fan. You haven't quite convinced me yet.
I'll tell you what was funny, and this time he's going nowhere. What was really funny is he does it and then goes running to Matt going, "Ah, what have I done? I'm such a bad person."
It proves he's not a bad boy because he's got a guilty conscience. Mummy, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh.
Elandra would go mad if she heard he was conducting himself like this.
She would. She'd drag him back to Hinky Dink. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. Back at the farm, Tim's been summoned again, and I am shocked he even turned up after the last one because he arrived.
This guy likes to punch in the face.
Got knocked out eggs. Well, he must do.
I think he likes it. I think he's into it. I think he likes being punched in the face because he just seems to want to attract trouble. This guy, I don't know why. Yeah.
Because that. Let me pick my drink up. Tell me more about it. Liking it rough.
I just think he's turned out this week like he's not scared of confrontation, is he? He's not scared to put his face out there.
Sticks up for himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, and for other people. And he's not afraid to kind of square up to people. Like he's squared up to Cash this week as well, hasn't he? And I thought, yeah, you're right. Like he's just been punched in the face by this guy, and yet he's willing to just drive out there. Like if someone had punched me in the face and then summoned me, I'd be like, no, you come to me this time.
But I'm not going back there again.
Exactly.
No way.
This guy's just either is really stupid or is just completely just loves a fight. And like, I don't know. There's something about him that's a bit unhinged, I think. I don't know.
Well, I think what we can take from it is he's comfortable around it, around violence. And I think we need to make a mental note of that. Because we're all suspicious, aren't we? Let's face it, we've been banging this drum for ages. And, that's a clue, if ever I saw one, that he's not afraid of confrontation. So that tells me that that's something he's had a lot of at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been hit in the lip before. You know what I mean? I've never been hit in the face. I've never had a split lip off someone coming around and punch me in the face. And I think if someone suddenly punched me, I think I'd be a bit more shocked than he was, and I probably would have reported it, as assault. But he just seems to have just literally taken it on the lip, like not a big deal, like it's happened before. I'm like really sus of that.
Yeah, a bit too familiar with it, wasn't he? Turns out, what do you think of this? Levi begging him back, like to go and speak to her. What do you think of that? I mean, she needed someone she trusted to speak to, but Levi not basically getting away with his actions, which really miffed me last week. I was quite vocal about it, and this week he's like not even apologetic, but he's just like, I need you. Don't like you, but I need you.
Yeah.
Like, why should he? Why should he help you out?
Yeah, and it was kind of a guilt trip, wasn't it, as well? It was like, well, it's your fault. Look at her scrapbook. Look at her. Look what she's doing. She's going off the rails again, and she's going to be back on drugs soon if you don't talk to her. It was like an emotional guilt trip thing, and I thought, I don't know, I wasn't very keen on that, really. And I think, although it comes out in a more kind of explosive, more entertaining way, I think at this point it should have been more of a conversation with Abby, just like, when Tim spoke to her, and he said, it's got my decision to not counsel you anymore, not have the sessions with you anymore. It's got absolutely nothing to do with you, and it's got everything to do with me. And he still didn't say it's because of Eden, or it's, you know what I mean? I'm torn, because part of me was like, no, that's going to make her feel even more awful, like if he tells her the truth. But then at the same time, I was like, yeah, but why are we still lying to this girl? I don't know. I didn't know what to think, really. I didn't know whether I wanted her to know from Tim the truth, or whether I thought that he was doing the right thing because he knows that would set her recovery back. But then if he's carrying on with Eden anyway, it's going to come out anyway and set her recovery back. So I don't know where I was all over the shop with this. I don't know how to feel. Can you make it easier for me to navigate?
No,
I can't get there.
No. I think Levi has chosen the coward's way out. I think he needed to own, because he created this mess, right? His response to finding out about them both, about Eden and what's his name, Tim. His response got them into this situation. I would argue
that's true.
It's Levi's fault she's got no therapist right now. Right? She doesn't know it. But it was Levi's big reaction that meant that Tim felt like he couldn't go on anymore. He'd have carried on in secret. Should have had a therapist. Okay, he's a dog. We've said last week about him not saying the right thing, and he should have carried on. Or, you were saying, weren't you, about he's chosen the worst way to do it, and we should have. He's misrepresented the reason why he's leaving and all that. The truth is obviously the best case scenario, despite how crushing it's going to be, because that is the truth. And the longer she doesn't know it, the worse it's going to be. But I would say Levi is not smelling the roses out of this whole thing.
No.
And rather than have a difficult conversation and be like, this is really shit, but this has happened, and I've punched him and threatened him and told him and demanded this and demanded that, and that's why he's left.
Yes.
Rather than say that, he's making him deal with it.
Yeah. And still lie to her. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you just helped me kind of think about it again. So if we're going to continue to lie to her, if Tim and Eden are going to carry on being a couple and they're going to continue to lie to Abby, then I think the truth needs to come out, because like you say, the longer it goes on, the more damaging it's going to be. If they were going to not see each other anymore and he still wasn't going to counsel her, I don't think he needed to tell her at that point, because I think that could have potentially set her back for no reason, because it's over. The relationship's going nowhere. But I think it's the fact that they're carrying on seeing each other. She deserves to hear it from either Eden, Tim, or Levi, and not hear it from Cash.
Yes, I agree. Well, I would even say to you, Levi punches him, has a go at him, tells him to get out of town, and he does what he's told.
That's true.
He doesn't see Eden until Levi brings him back to town. It's Levi that brings him back. Because there's a scene.
Didn't he sleep with Eden after he got punched? I'm sure he slept with Eden.
He did, but he wasn't told to get out of town, was he? He left after that. There was a different scene later on. Yeah, where he says, he said to Abby, "Look, I can't be your." He did sleep with Eden again, but he did say to Abby, "I can't be your whatever." And Eden then ends the relationship with Tim and says, "I can't do it." And he leaves town. And then that's him out of town then until Levi calls him and says, "Can you come back?" So he comes back, but he does. I mean, in Levi's defense, it's not all Levi, because he doesn't say to him, "Yeah, go and catch up with Eden." He does that of his own back. And it doesn't take long before they're passionate again.
I think again that was Levi's fault, because Levi said something to Eden, and Eden went, "Oh, have you spoken to him then?" And then she phoned Tim, because she found out that Levi had got him talking to Abby. So again, Levi had set that in motion. So you're right. Okay.
So he's trying to make out that he's the hero in it all, but he keeps creating this scenario,
Yeah.
So
and yet still keeping her in the dark about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we fast forward, of course, later on. Abby's at the surf club playing pool with Theo. Kirby has now found out from Eden, having come home and Tim's there, that that's all a thing, and she's been filled in a bit, hasn't she? And unbeknownst to her, she's gone to the surf club, and Cash, who is obviously, as we know now, is now aware, because he's tried to go and speak to Eden and has heard some music in the back garden and looked over through the fence and seen them embraced on the outside dining set. So
you make it sound so romantic.
On the rattan in the back garden. So Cash is like, he's all kinds of hurt, isn't he? And he's like overreacting actually.
Overreacting, yes.
And he's seen Kirby and gone like, are you going to tell me about this Tim guy and Eden sleeping together? And you're like, oh shit. Abby stood right there.
It's so weird, this though, isn't it? Like Cash exploding at Kirby, and then he went round and had a go at Remi as well. Oh, you know about this, do you? What do you think of it? And I was like, oh, this is weird, because obviously we know that Remi, he was really like shocked with Eden, wasn't he, as well? He was like, no, that's not cool. That's your sister's counsellor. You can't go there. And like, he had a bit of a go at her, actually, didn't he? Which we gave him props for. But then, Cash doesn't know all of that, and he turns up at the house and goes, oh, do you know about her shagging her sister's counsellor? And you can't have a good feel about that. And you're a doctor, Brie, because you're here as well. I'll have a go at you at the same time. This was really weird. Like, this was super weird.
I really want to get your thoughts on Cash and his subsequent reaction, because, like, obviously he's a favourite of yours, and I'm like, I'm watching it. I mean, I really like, he's one of my favourites too, but no, he's not up there like he is for me, like he is for you, right? No. And I'm like, he's letting himself down here, man. Like,
oh God, yeah.
And do you know that explosive scene where he turns up at the house and confronts her, and she's like, I waited for you. I literally waited for you. I did everything I possibly could. And you told me to move on. And now I'm moving on. So rack the fuck off. And I'm like, yes, girl. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. I'll be honest, it's been a really difficult week for me as a Cash fan, because he's acting like an absolute moron. I mean, he's proper cray-cray. I mean, he's dragged the garden furniture to the front lawn. And
the rattan chair,
and stashed it. And he's now like, he's not even being subtle, because the start of the week, I think I said to you in first look, I was like, I want to see dishevelled Cash sat at the computer in YCPD, looking at Tim's Facebook, which we got a little bit of, which I was so happy about, because I wanted this. It's like, cloud. Yeah, he's trying to find any dirt on him. He's like going through his photos and stuff, and then we get him like almost going into the police super duper computer and looking him up there, and I was like, oh my God, I was lapping this up because this is what I wanted to see. But I was expecting, because he's a cop and because he's been a bodyguard and all this sort of stuff, I was expecting more of a PI Cash, on the down low, subtle, getting information. But he's not. He's gone full cray-cray.
Like, no, he's sat on the front lawn.
he's not stalking him. He's like actively watching him, and he can see that he's watching him. He's opening his car doors and going through his car, and it's just it's so not, over the top.
Can we just? I don't want to distract you, so hold that thought. But he's not got a central lock-in.
Because how are three of the doors locked, but one is unlocked?
What year is it? 1994.
It's wasn't it the passenger side that was unlocked? Because it was the
Yeah.
side with the glove compartment on. So
Yeah,
the driver's side
convenient.
was locked. The back doors of the car were locked. Maybe he's got child safety lock on. I don't know. But the passenger side of the door was unlocked. That was weird. I'm glad you noticed that because I was crying laughing. No, it's just so weird. I don't know. I think I was expecting him to be lurking in the bushes and following them around at a distance and gathering information online and that kind of thing. But he went straight into full on crazy. And I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it.
No, same. I thought there might have been the odd whispers like, I'm on to you. I know
Yes.
you're hiding something.
Yeah.
And I will do anything to fight. And he'll be like, yeah, try me. I
Yeah.
got the girl. You know, I was expecting that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Not like I'll sit till dawn on my front lawn on my rattan chair and stare at your house and not blink.
I was almost watching in disbelief because I was like, where did this come from? Like,
is he losing it?
Yeah.
I don't mean to be. I don't mean to diminish. I don't mean to like diminish
he
mental health.
is.
Is he losing it?
He's
like,
I think he's lost it. I don't think he's losing it. I think he's fully lost it. Like he's lost the plot, and I don't know. He's crossed so many lines this week. Oh, and because he's a cop and he's only just got his job back as well. You know, he's only just got back in YCPD. He's not long really been back in uniform, hasn't he? Because he wasn't at Mangrove River very long, and then obviously he had all that time off when his sister died. So he's only just back behind the desk, really. I don't know.
Rose is fuming. Eden's fuming. Like he's got no fans at the minute. I mean, Tane's fuming. He's caught him in his glove box. You know, he won't listen to Harper. Like, you know, who's going to get through to this guy? And do you know what? I would even say of all these characters that he's, you know, been at loggerheads with this week.
Yeah.
There's one of them that sticks out to me that was giving him the benefit of the doubt, and it was actually Tim. Tim was saying like, well, you know, grief, and you know, he's grieving, and you know, everybody else is done with him. And it's quite funny. It's quite funny that it's Tim that was the one. I mean, suppose he's a counsellor, so he needs to have that empathy, doesn't he?
And also, he's trying to ingratiate himself with a new group of people that he doesn't know. So
that's true. Yeah,
bagging someone that you barely know isn't a very good look anyway, is it? So it's much better to ingratiate yourself by saying something nice than it is to go, oh yeah, that guy's obviously a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like he's a bit. He's quite switched on. I think is Tim.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you notice that Eden was barefoot in the cul-de-sac as well one day?
Oh no, did not notice that. No.
Yeah, barefoot. There was one day Cash intercepted her coming or going from the house, no shoes on in the street.
Oh dear.
So we're in a right mess here now. Like you say, he's on Face Cloud, and he's looking him up. He's staring at the house. Hashtag Planet Earth first. Like his Face Cloud profile seems pretty hippie. Like it doesn't seem dangerous, does it, on first glance?
But then that's the public facade. We don't know what's going on underneath. I have to say that the reason I'm so conflicted is because Cash has been an absolute tool this week and kind of terrifying, but also, oh my god, he's never looked hotter. He never looked hotter.
I disagree.
And there was a scene, I had to watch it a few times in case I missed something, where he gets out of bed and he's only wearing boxer shorts, and that just broke my brain for like 20 minutes. So
that's fine. But I texted you, I said the blue jeans, black shoes ruined everything.
That's all right. Just get back
I can't be the only one. I cannot be the only one.
I don't even see the shoes and jeans anymore. All I see is the Australia tat and the boxer shorts. That's it. That's now burned into my frontal lobe or whatever. I don't know.
I bet.
Oh god. Oh dear. Yes. Do you think he can? How can he come back from this? Like, how can he come back from crazy neighbor stalker?
Do you want my honest truth? The only way he can come back from this is if he's right about Tim.
But what is he actually? Because I know he said something like to Eden, he was like, "He's not right for you. He's dangerous or whatever." And I was like,
based
"Where's
on
the
what?
proof?
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
cop. Where's the evidence? Have we had
Based
any?"
on what? Look, we've been saying since we met Tim, something's off. We're a bit sus, but I think that's because we're conditioned, right?
Yes.
Not because we've got facts, we've got evidence, right?
No.
If you
no.
put yourself in the universe, Cash has absolutely nothing on him.
No.
Nothing other than he's a bit peeved that he's with his ex. He says something like, "I didn't sacrifice everything so that somebody else could ruin her life." What makes him think? What has put this in his mind? He could be a really nice bloke.
He could be, yeah. And we don't have any evidence to the contrary, do we? Yet we just have a gut feeling that this guy is dodgy. That's it.
Yeah.
So if it was you and I, if the Coastal News were investigating Tim right now, we wouldn't be confronting him like Cash would. We would still be gathering evidence. And I think that's where I've lost him, because I'm like, you're a copper, do your job, get your evidence, and then you present it. You've just looked like an absolute Looney Tune by going over there and going, he's bad for you, with nothing to back it up.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's losing his nearest supporters, Tane, Harper.
Yeah.
He's not got a lot of people left in the Bay.
No.
And a bit of a warning, you know that bit where he pulls them over for not indicating.
Oh God.
You know, and you know, double standards. Pot, kettle, and black was bandied around on Twitter that night after what he did to Rose.
Oh yeah.
When I tell you, this has helped Rose out though a bit here. You know, she was struggling with the whole power change at work. She's had to come down on him now, hasn't she? So.
Well, he's going to lose his job. So do you know what I mean? Like, she's not going to be superior to him anymore. He's going to be on the dole. So.
Well, that's it. You choose, pal. You choose.
I think Rose needs to call Gary. Call in the big guns.
Oh yeah, now you say it. Could Gary be the only one that could make him listen?
I just want Gary back. So yes, he can. Yes, bring back Gary.
Do you know, I'd love Gary to keep recurring and keep returning, because
he needs to.
And you know, I'm seeing it now. Calming tone. His voice is so good. He speaks. This is not you. Reason.
Yeah, I know you, Cash. This isn't you. If you think this guy's dodgy, do the work, get the evidence. If you can't find anything, you've got to drop it. You know, he's got to have that conversation with him, I think.
I agree, because Eden's all for. I mean, I was thinking, especially when she goes down to YCPD and confronts him. In the interview room, I was thinking we're talking about harassment charges and all sorts here. Does he need that on his record? He's already been suspended recently before.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a good copy either, is he?
Not right now. No.
Yes. And he's not only is that a crime using the super duper police computer, but also a crime of fashion with the blue jeans and the black jeans.
Just take them off. Take them off.
I couldn't stop looking. I wasn't listening to any of the dialogue. It's like, what the hell?
Oh, I didn't. I saw your text message to me, but I didn't clock the offending article. I think in my brain, he's always going to be Australia tat and boxers from now on.
Obviously, you're getting screenshots tomorrow. Right.
Thanks.
It's complicated. Remi comes back from his parents for a few days, and he explains that he had a trust fund that his grand set up for him, and that's all landed. And basically, it's $5 million. And then Bria has to confirm he means dollars. I'm like, what else would he mean?
Dollars, yeah. Australian dollars. So not £5 million, but still a lot of money.
Think of the Semillons he'd have.
Oh, God. Oh, we could buy like half the Hunter Valley with that. And have all the Semillons you can get your hands on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. And some for spare. So he feels like he doesn't deserve it, though. You remember, this is the life Remi chose. He wanted to get away from all that money stuff, didn't he? And he always he cites this thing in his family where his dad married into it, and it was all from his mum's side. And the comments about his dad marrying well, which this is all stuff that is completely unrelatable to me. I don't get it. Like, I just don't,
No.
I'm from the working class north of the UK. None of this makes any sense to me.
No, ditto.
So
there's
I'm
no
just
trust fund in my name.
no. And I'm just like, right, so you're annoyed because your dad married a rich wife because I don't get it. Neither does Bree. Bree's like, you've got $5 million. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
let's have lobster and caviar. So,
Yeah.
and look, it takes a bit of convincing, but she makes him realise after another bloody argument, these two. Oh my God, these 2
Mm-hmm.
I still putting these on Fizzle Watch,
Oh yeah, we never took them off. Never took them
No,
off.
we set the writings on the wall, didn't we? And as another argument today about this bloody money. Not today, this week. But then he eventually comes around and says, right, she convinces him he's going to do good, he's going to do something good with it. Gathers everybody and says, right, by everybody, I mean the whole band and Justin. So you're like, oh, God's sake.
And
so Tim. It's like, oh, and Tim, yeah, but you don't know him, so it's fine. He's not getting nothing. Tells them all, I've got this $5 million, and we're going to split it. And you're like, well, there's about 7 people here. But now we've not even got a mill. Like, and everyone's quitting their jobs to do band full time, which Eden was like, yeah, I'm in straight away. Didn't need asking twice. And I'm like, this isn't enough money for all you people to like
live off
just
forever.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, it's a lot of money, but it's not enough for you. So how the ins and outs of how it's going to split, I don't know, because the first thing he orders is catering. So I'm like, right,
French champagne, yes, imported, yes.
Well, is there another champagne in the world that you know about that I don't?
Well, you can buy other. It's not really champagne if it's not from the Champagne region, but you can buy other champagne that's cheaper, can't you?
Cardinet.
Yeah.
It's French, the H is silent.
Oh dear.
Chardonnay, you pack of shits.
It is. I don't disagree, to be honest. Yes.
So okay. So we've got catered occasion. We've got splitting the money. We're going to get the band back together. Theo's not in though, is he? Theo's
the reason why the band is on hiatus at the moment, isn't it? Because the band went on hiatus when Theo went to his his addiction therapy for the whole thing with Valerie. It went on pause then, as far as I remember. I think that was the reason, wasn't it? I think so.
Yeah.
So
he needed to take time to focus.
Yeah. But then just because Remi's got money, I thought that was a bit strange because he was like, oh, I've got some money, I can bring the band back together. And I was thinking, but the band split up because Theo was struggling with fame and struggling with drugs and struggling with this and that and the other.
It wasn't because of money, was it? Yeah.
No, not well. There's always been a money issue, isn't there? But I don't think that was the reason why they were on hiatus. I think it was because Theo said, I need time out to sort my head out.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a bit cruel actually by Remi, because it was like, right, let's get the band back together, and I was like, but the lead singer was a wobbly. You need to have a word with him first and say, how do you feel about coming back and doing it again? And Theo's the only one that's really got a life outside the band. I mean, he's got the job in the garage, which he actually enjoys. He loves the working with cars and working with Justin, and it's only the other ones that have got Kirby's working with Marley and Eden's working in Salt, and they don't. That's not really what they want to do. But Justin, Theo actually does enjoy being a mechanic, and he did this apprenticeship and that kind of thing. So he's the one that needs to decide, I think, if he wants to stay in the band, not Remi.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
He sprung it on them quite publicly. It was it was a bit but Theo seems to, he's hesitant, but he's not really voicing what it is that's stopping him. He's not saying, I don't feel ready, or, I need longer. And then there's this backdrop of, which I think is probably going to be linked, Justin recognising Tim from his drug visit, which, God, I had to dig back to think about that.
I was really confused about this because, first it was like, oh, I think I recognise you. Are you a local? Do you bring your car into the garage? And I was like, I was actually getting really excited because I was like, oh, I hope he's remembered him from something really juicy. I hope Tim was, because last year I was casting my mind back and I was like, what could Justin have come across this guy for in the past? And I was thinking last year, Justin went to court, didn't he, for assault? He ended up on the litter picking community service thing, didn't he? Where we saw him picking litter at the side of the road or whatever.
Yeah, and that's how we met Andrew, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I thought maybe Tim was a litter picker. Maybe Tim's got a mark on his record. Maybe he has got a bad streak to him or whatever. So I was thinking, it could be something to do with that, and like my mind was kind of going everywhere. And then when they said, he said, I know you from, you did a drugs therapy counselling session years ago. And I was thinking, that was years ago, though, wasn't it? Like, would Tim not have been at school at this point? That was a long time ago. I don't know.
I had to think because my mind went way back. My mind went to like Brody's drug problem.
Oh, yeah. No, this was the painkillers, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got there in the end. Yeah. But
I can't remember why Justin was on the painkillers. Why was he on? I couldn't remember why he was taking the painkillers in the first place.
It was his back. It was his back, wasn't it?
What did he do? How did he hurt his back? I can't remember any of that now.
No, I can't remember. But
that's how long ago it was. You know what I mean? And I was thinking this was years ago, and Tim looks like he's doing his HSC now. So
no. Tim, we were talking about this like privately. I mean, on the WhatsApp leak. Whoa.
No.
Like, no thanks.
Don't do it.
The Tim sort of came in really hot and different, and then like went really young and unhot within an episode.
It's weird. Some people have theorized on the Twitter that he's had a shave, and that's why we don't think he looks young now.
Did he have a 5 o'clock shadow on the first?
I need to go back to the first ep and see like side by side what the difference was. So I don't know. 1 minute I was like, oh, he's really fit, and the next minute I was like, he looks like he should be at school doing his HSC.
So, I don't think that the hoodies help. He had the same white hoodie come shacket, which is very 2006. But look at me talking today like I'm some sort of fashion bit. Like, you want to see the way I dress. And then what you have. And then the day he did get changed, he just changed the colour of the hoodie to black.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but no, I'm not feeling it anymore. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. And so this is all in the background of Theo sort of stalling with the whole getting the band back together. If it was his passion and something he really wanted to do, you think he'd be jumping at it. So how Remi isn't sitting him down by now and thinking, right, something's off. Your body language and your reactions telling me you don't want it. So like, why and what's going on with you? And let's talk about it as mates. Rather than me being like, are you coming? Let's do it. Yeah,
just being really gung-ho about it. And is it to do with the fact that, he'd be getting back into a band with his ex-girlfriend again? Is it that, they're only just really starting to be more friendly and civil with each other. There was a long time where Kirby and Theo didn't really have many scenes together. And, they've recently started talking, and she's recently started to realise that he likes Abby, and she seems to be okay with that. So I think that's telling us that they've moved on from each other, and she's happy to see him with someone else.
Yeah.
But, they're still ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend. Do they really want to be in the back of a van going on tour together for God knows how long? I don't know. Is it that? Is it?
And I think, it could be any of the above, couldn't it? And Justin's like, he's now chatting to Leah and being like, I've just found out that the therapist of this new love interest of Theo's is is Tim, and Tim's a drug therapist, and he deals with they're just thinking Valerie again, aren't they? And so they're going to get involved now. So the decision's not going to be as cut and dry as I want to be in a band again.
No.
I think it's going to involve the whole family and his own recovery, because it was like, what, 6-7 months ago, he was going on these massive benders. And that you can't just get out, you can't just move past that if you're someone who's trying to recover.
And the reason why he went on the benders, the reason why he got into the drugs, was because he was spinning too many plates. He was trying to do his apprenticeship, he was trying to work at the garage, he was trying to keep the band going, and then obviously he had a few knocks of confidence with the band, because they had the interviews where he sort of froze, didn't he? And he felt like an idiot
to the band. So he's sort of it's like regress, isn't it? It's like going back to it. So there's going to be hesitation, there's going to be concern. And I get it, I do get it. I do think we'll end up with the band back, though. Do you?
I think it's inevitable now, isn't it? Yeah.
Because the storyline's got the cash. They just need to get him on board. So, band manager Justin, we've got a van that says it on it, So, and there's always an occasion that needs a live band. It's coming back. Brace yourself. Someone like you.
Do you know what I was thinking? We've just had Mac take on Salt, and she's got all this debt now because she's took it on herself without any help from, because Xander offered to go halves.
Forgot about that.
In the back of my mind, I'm still thinking Salt could potentially go into trouble at any time. And maybe Remi will be better putting some of this money into a business or into something, and then obviously the band is the house band for the restaurant, isn't it? So I don't know.
Your style.
Is Mac's money woes gonna crop its? I don't know.
Let's put a pin in that. I like your style. I'd actually forgotten about that, and you're right. There's a reason we were seeing her applying for loans for weeks. Wasn't there? There's got to be.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, Sophie, I like it. Write it in the book.
Okay.
New page. Forget the Marley page. Write it in the book.
Oh, the Marley page is never going to be forgotten. Going to haunt you for years. Yes.
Oh yeah, Dancing with the Stars.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That means he'll be out of the show.
We've seen him dancing on the show before, haven't we? Magic Marley.
We're going to be digging that out for the social medias when that's on.
Oh dear.
I always want to ride the crest. You know me. I don't know if you knew, but white lies are still lies, Sophie. And Maz calls Leah out on it this week. You were right. It's about Maz keeping Leah to her renewed vows, words. And Leah's like, for God's sake, stop sweating the small stuff, doll. Maz stressing about it. She's even telling Rue and Alf, look, I witnessed them promise. And they're all like, what's the problem? Do you know what I liked about the story? Because for me, I don't know if I'm starting to get beyond obsession with this show, but I was starting to pick out, this week was about lies. The theme of the writing this week was lies. It was like Levi thinking he's protecting Abby by not telling her, lying. It was Eden concealing her relationship from Cash because she's moved on and it's nothing to do with him, but it's actually hurtful, lies. And this was like, it was sort of personified in Maz. It was almost like we're being taught that the difference in lies, like you can lie to protect somebody. And Maz was like, this is a marriage, and lying and people concealing and not telling each other thing isn't as black and white as I promise not to ever tell you a lie. Like we all lie, we all hide the truth at some point or another during the day or whatever. We all misrepresent our feelings or something. And we do it for different reasons. And there are things in a marriage, in a relationship, that you won't tell your partner. We've all got our secrets.
Yeah.
And this to me was like a big lesson in that. And I was thinking, everybody the whole week was lying to each other. Nobody was telling the truth.
Ooh.
Marley was lying to Theo.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was lying, and then Maz was the only one. And then Maz comes out and goes, "The truth is always the most best honest path." And then Justin goes, "Oh, that was cute that you lied to me." It was like it's okay to tell some like choose your lie. Like, it was like a lesson in sort of the type of lie that you can get away with and the type of lie you shouldn't tell. Did I just read way too much into it?
Probably, but I like this. I hadn't clocked this, and I'm really liking this because now I'm seeing it. Yeah, no, I think that's really clever.
Yeah, the theme of the whole week, literally everybody was lying to each other. Every other character has lied.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I thought I had to get it in that, like, I'd spotted this, and it was probably pure fluke and accident. But writers, if you're listening, take the credit.
No, I like this theory. Yeah, you're right, and it does sort of start those conversations about when it's acceptable to tell a lie and when it's not, doesn't it? Because if you're doing it, even if you're doing something wrong, if you're doing it for the right reasons, does that make it right? If you're trying to protect someone's feelings, trying to stop someone else being hurt, and if the lie never gets found out, that person's never going to get hurt. Is that okay? I guess.
Is that right or wrong? That's the debate, isn't it? That's the big old question. Yeah.
Oh, this is getting deep now.
It is. But I'm glad. I just that's what I took from it. I was like, oh my god, like Maz was there, like making Leah fess up, and I was thinking, Leah's the only person this week who's been forced to speak a truth. Like, everybody else is lying. Marley's lying. Eden's lying. Bree and Remi. Remi was lying at one point. Didn't want to say what the trip was about. Cash. I thought everybody's lying. Everybody's lying.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
I was like, oh my god, write it down quick, Simon, before we forget.
Ooh, interesting.
Told you, this crescendo, because nothing good comes of lies. I mean, obviously, a good storyline comes from it, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said it, actually, because I was kind of getting exasperated by the Leah and Justin one, because I kind of thought we dealt with it last week.
Yeah.
The wedding ring thing was weird, and then obviously it spilled into this week, and I was sort of thinking, well, why is she making such a big deal out of this? It isn't a big deal. It's just, like you say, it's one of those things that you just do in the spur of the moment, and probably, it's a bad thing. She shouldn't have lied to him, but who's she hurting, really, at the end of the day? And but now that you've put the spin on it, I'm like, okay, I can Jenny this, I can get on board with it. And
it was for us. It was a lesson for us.
Yeah.
As like you pick your poison.
Yeah.
Sort of lesson.
Because out of all the lies that have been told this week, it was just the most pointless one. There was no need for her to sort of put the rings in that view bend or whatever it was.
Yeah.
and oh, look, you found them. You know what I mean? It was just stupid.
And that's why Justin had to have that reaction.
Yes.
Of, aren't you sweet?
Yeah.
That's why his reaction had to be that. Because then we're like, right, okay, that's okay to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's not okay to sleep with your sister's therapist.
I think we knew that already, but yes.
We've got time just to briefly mention, because this sounds like it might snowball. The bait shop rent has been doubled. It's been jacked up, Alf said.
Yeah.
And what are they trying to do to poor Alf? I mean, he's as if he's not having a tough time of it already.
I know.
It sounds like, he feels like the landlord wants him out, and he should know because his email font is so big. Like,
He has got it on like 150 times, hasn't he? Oh my God. It's insane. Yeah. Yeah.
And it does give a bit of a fire in his belly. Rue even comments, she says, I've not seen you like this for a while. He's been a bit down in the dumps. He's got a bit of a fire in his belly about it. But he does sort of say things. It sounds like he's having a bit of a battle here. Like, maybe I just give it up, more hassle than it's worth. So this might be a development on the ongoing whatever's going on with Mr. Stewart right now. Does he need this on top?
Can he not just ask Remi for some money?
Well,
yeah.
Oh God, my God! Now you've just said about investing in a business, and Remi's just coming to $5 million, and oh my God!
I mean, how much is the bait shop really in the grand scheme of things? It can't be that much. Yeah.
Turnover will be now. Well, it's just one of those things that's been in a town for donkey's years, and
exactly. Yeah. Come on, Remi, help us out.
I can't remember the landlord situation of the pier. Because if you remember, the Estonies owned it, didn't they?
Yes.
At one point.
Don't they still own it? Or did they sell it?
Well, I'm trying to remember now. And if any listeners remember, please can you write in and let us know, because my memory is shot. Maggie got poorly, didn't she? Did they not sell it when they left and went to Italy?
Yes, and didn't Irene and Leah and everyone club together to buy the diner?
So are they leaseholders then, or do they own the blooming pier? Which is it?
I don't know.
Is the landlord Leah and Irene? If so, this is a bit of a misstep.
I don't think Leah and Irene own the whole pier, but I remember them clubbing together when the diner was in trouble for some reason.
But isn't the diner in the same pier as?
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to look this up because I can't remember the details. But
that's our homework for next week.
Yeah, I do remember Leah and Irene clubbing the money together to save the diner at one point.
I remember that. So I was under the assumption that they all, as a consortium, bought it, so they had no landlord. And now I'm hearing a landlord's doubling the rent. So which is it?
Doubling the rent of just the bait shop, though, or the whole pier complex.
Well, we haven't heard anything from the diner, have we, as of yet? That they're in the same boat.
I think they own that.
I don't know. Is it not supposed to be the same building, isn't it? Supposed to be.
Is it though, or do you buy the square footage of the diner and then that's separate from the rest of the square footage? I don't know.
We could explain it that way, yeah.
I'm not very good with the realtor property development sort of regulations. I've got no idea, but I'm wondering whether it's not all the same building, but it is on the same piece of land.
This weekend, we're going to have to go back to the Estonies' departure, aren't we, and have a look what happened. Remind me to do that tomorrow. Tomorrow.
What do you mean? You're going to be up all night Googling it. I know you. I'll get a text message at 2 a.m. going, I've worked it out, doll. And then I'll get 10 links.
So, as far as I can tell, the landlord is Josh West.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I'm wondering if it's, like you say, is it freehold? Is it leasehold? Is it square feet? Is it really the same building, or is it just the same plot of land? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember what happened, but they were all paying rent to the Estonians at one point because it was a good little earner, and then something happened, and we can't remember what. We'll find out, and we'll come back to you. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Right, Sophie, it's time for your say on the bay. Not your say.
Woo! Not my say. Yeah, no. I think everyone's had enough of my drivel. Yeah.
Never. Yeah. Record numbers. You heard.
Not after this week.
This is the part of the show where the listener gets involved. They've had enough of our say. It's time for their say, your say, listener. I'm talking to you now. You, as always, you can get in touch. This podcast is all about the community. It's about us getting in touch with you, bring us together, talking about the show that we all love to watch. So make sure you get involved. We tweet along every episode as we watch at 6:30 on My Five every weekday on X X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Hashtag Home and Away UK. Our handle is at Coastal News Pod. Come and tweet along, comment along with the show all week. We're there every evening in some form or another. You can also catch us on Threads, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky. It's the same username at Coastal News Pod. Or if you do the hashtag Home and Away UK, you'll find us and we'll find you. And you never know, we might be reading out your comments on next week's Your Say on the Bay. You can also email us if you're not on any of the social medias. And let's face it, can I blame you these days? No, they're getting worse and worse. Drop us an email, coastalnewspod@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you eventually. And you never know, read your email out on the show. How did I do? I'm doing this. You're normally doing this, Sophie. I'm doing this for you.
I'm loving this. You're doing a bonza job, mate. Bonza.
Bonza. Oh my God. Here with me, it's been a few months since we were in Australia. We're losing the lingo, and you brought out a bonza.
Bonza, yeah, you're flaming the lie. No, you did a great job. I loved it. 11 out of 10.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
Blimey. Well, we've had an email. Well, so this email came in last week. It missed the recording. So some of the content is a little bit sort of last few weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily just this week. So, well, it's going to be none of this week because we got it last week.
Unless this person is psychic. Is it Marilyn?
Yeah. Shall I read the email? I'm rambling.
Go for it.
It's from Jacob. Loves an email. A regular emailer. Thank you, Jacob. Hope you're doing really well. Happy New Year. He says, I think I've missed the pod recording. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to go anyway. You did, Jacob, but here we are.
We still hear from you. We still want to hear from you.
Yes, we do. We'll get there eventually with your email, so don't worry if it's late. The Peri Peri thing, we're addressing Peri Peri first, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So he says he may have killed Papa Chicken in self-defense, but PC Petal, which I think is Rose Petal, wasn't having any of it. For his mum to randomly arrive, as she did, was a bit of a really moment.
Mm.
Up to that point, it was a good storyline. That's what you make of that.
I love that. Papa Chicken has got me.
Yeah, and he put, however, no, it's not a good storyline. I thought it was Marley's sister when she first walked into the court. They look alike. I'm not sure where they can go from here with the story. I mean, he's been let off without anything. As I type this, I'm watching Peri Peri with Tarnay and his Papa Fucker on the beach. Will it just be the Kiwi Karate Kid stuff from now on?
It's Fucker Papa, isn't it?
I don't know, but he's so Papa Fucker. I think I've got that DVD. Actually,
I think Papa Fucker might be something else. Oh, I can't breathe. Oh, Jacob, you crack me up. Oh, dear. Love it.
Of course, having the beautiful knowledge of being in the future from this email, he's left the show.
That's true, yeah.
So there'll be no Fucker Pappering here.
Oh, Papa Fucker.
I'm afraid.
I can't breathe.
We're going to get kicked off the podcast platform.
Do you know what? We're overdue. We're 5 years overdue.
I know, we've made it this far. Yeah, to be fair, we've said worse. To be fair,
dear. We have. Oh, that's brilliant.
I'm glad that RoboCop decided to stay.
This is Cash.
It must be.
Oh,
Can't be
crying.
anyone else, can it? RoboCop.
I'm crying.
I love the awkward Cash around PC Petal. He's so funny. I'm sure he'll get his rank back soon enough. All he's got to do is crack a case.
That's true.
Could
yeah.
that case be Tim?
Yeah. Well, obviously this was last week, so Jacob hasn't seen at this point the fact that what was he? RoboCop.
RoboCop.
He's
gone rogue RoboCop. God, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the face cloud and he's not afraid to use it.
Yeah.
He then goes on to say, I used to like Maz. That was until she called Kangaroo back to the bay. Although since she's hopped back, Mr. Stewart seems to have de-stressed a little. Maybe Kangaroo can drop kick the dock into a breeze and out of town.
I love this. It's so do you know what, Jacob? You make it more entertaining than the actual show. Do you know what I mean?
You do. We always enjoy a Jacob email.
We do.
I'm looking forward to seeing Marley's Manta Ray Boards ads, and I reckon Tim's time is coming to an end, and that'll allow Eden and Cash to rekindle their relationship. Anyway, the more I type, the longer it takes to get you. So have a good week, guys. I then actually had a follow-up email from him because he obviously emailed while he was watching the show titled Update. And it says, so, since my last email, Leah has deceived Justin in the ring thing, and Dana has been inducted into the buggy driving course and hurt John in the process. Peri Peri Chicken has returned to New Zealand, and Tane can now concentrate on Harper and Bubba. Oh, and Bree shared her chips with Dana and Xander. What happened to her OCD? Is she cured? True.
Good point.
Yes, very true. That's a bit of a hygiene situation. Sharing your chips. Thank you, Jacob. I will reply now. It's been sat there for a week, but I wanted to get it on the pod first. You could hear our reaction rather than read it.
Yeah. Oh, I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Yes. Good giggle. Emma dropped us an email as well this week,
Emma.
and she said, I'm going to be mean for a minute, guys.
Ooh.
She said, Tane's bed. Why has an adult have it pushed against a wall?
It's a good question. I always think, I don't know whether it's because he's tall, but I always think his bed looks really short. It's why it only looks about 4 foot long. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like a tiny little cot.
He's not in a super queen, is he?
No.
I'd like to think it's because he might fall out of bed otherwise, Emma says.
Oh, it could be. Could be all the thrashing around. Yeah.
And she said, oh, God, the mental image. The fact that Dana calls him a demigod, she loves that, does Emma, because he has plenty of flaws. Bye for now. There we go.
Yeah, good point. Yes.
Thank you for your thoughts, Emma. Thank you very much. Right. Over on the Twitter this week, I did a bit of the tweet along this week, which is why I'm here doing it to you. And one of the stories this week, you will obviously remember Remi's a millionaire, which is weird saying it. Jamie says he doesn't feel like he's earned it, which goes along with his character. And I must say, I do agree, actually. He's definitely distanced himself from his family's fortunes, hasn't he, up to now? And has definitely wanted to pave his own way in life. And Jamie goes on to say, this is fine, but doesn't stop him needing a slap.
Yes. Can't disagree. Yeah.
Julie also identifies he could buy the house that they live in on, dare she say it, put the band back on the road. I think that's obviously a given. That's what they're trying to do, aren't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got to talk about Cash and his, let's call it inner turmoil.
That's the nice way of putting it.
Could be out of turmoil. Nina, regular contributor, says, goodness, Cash is turning into an obsessive. First the girl who got Felicity's organs, now Tim and Eden think the policeman needs to be behind bars, Nina says.
Yeah, I think it's getting close to that point, isn't it? He's going to be on the wrong side of the law. He's going to have assaulted Tim, or if he had done that search on the database that was illegal on the super duper police computer, he's really dancing with the law at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think if Rose PC Petal wanted to, I think she could throw the book at him. And really assert herself in her role as well.
Which she probably needs to, because she is the weaker of the two of them in terms of policing. She is the weaker one. And I think to assert herself in her role as his superior, she needs to come down on him like a ton of bricks, really, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
I must say, I agree. I'm not sure what I feel about that, to be honest.
No, it's a shame, isn't it? Because I didn't really want it to get here, but we're here, and I mean, you've got a good point there. He was obsessing about the organ donor lady. I've forgotten her name already, and she's not Michelle. Thank you. And she's not been mentioned since, so she's gone back to wherever she came from, and he's no longer obsessing about that. He's got his new Tim obsession going. So is this a new since Cash lost Flick and everything else, is this just become part of his personality now that he does get obsessive about things?
Maybe that, we're talking about Bree's been diagnosed, but have we got some sort of obsession disorder going on with Cash here as a result of trauma?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is this going to become part of Cash's backstory now, that he's got this side of him where he gets obsessed and can't shake off this, this
it's
feeling
definitely
about
an interesting one. I think I said I don't know if I said it on air, off air, when I said it, what I did, but I might have even dreamt having this conversation with you, Sophie, because that's another thing that happened to me. But this sort of notion of men and mental health and not talking, and we've got two characters there, and the woman has really gone through the channels and talked her problems out with somebody eventually. Yeah. And we've got a man who's took a different path. Yeah. That could be a good juxtaposition, couldn't it?
Yeah.
On a sort of a male experience versus a female one. Could be an interesting way to go.
They've both got jobs where the community relies on them to act in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like either of them, I don't want to name a job, you know what I mean? But it's not like either of them have got a job where they're not working with the community, where the community needs to put their full support and trust in them, because obviously Bree's saving lives. Cash probably is also saving lives, really, but they have to have the public's confidence that they are fit to do their job, both of them, don't they? So that's an interesting twist on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, agree.
Interesting.
Over on Facebook, they're talking about Cash as well this week. I've got some cracking names for you here over on Facebook.
I'm excited. Right? Yes.
We've got Severine Fiorentine.
Oh, yes.
I don't even know what I'm saying now. They put, don't know why the writers have made Cash become like this. He's a good guy and this doesn't suit him. Now, we would argue on the contrary. We think it suits him quite a lot.
I quite like dishevelled and hinged Cash, I'll be honest. But that's my own therapy that I need to work through. But I think she's right. I think it's not in character in terms of Cash from a couple of years ago. Remember Boring Cash that we talk about? Jasmine and Cash, boring era. But since he's lost his sister, and lots of things have happened in the last couple of years. The text stuff, the bikie gang, all that sort of the bugging his house that he lives in. Eden and Flick being in that car crash. All this stuff has happened to him. Has changed him, I think. So it wasn't in character for him a couple of years ago, but maybe, as we've just been talking about, this is becoming part of his backstory and part of his character now. The trauma, the impact of the trauma, and how he's going to act from now on. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is it, and that's what's interesting about it. We don't know.
No.
You know? So yeah. Marguerite Caris Manzano says Cash is a wet rag and needs to get a life. I love that. And then Karen on Facebook, which is obviously a joke in itself, replies, totally agree. He's a real wet rattle. I nearly said wet rag again. He's a real wet lettuce. Well, his character is. In real life, we would shout top of our voices. Stay away from that one. So, yes, people on Facebook are not being very warm towards him. Helen does reply, actually, and says grief can have strange effects on people. I do agree with them that Tim is dodgy, though. So we've got someone on Cash's side here who is also sus of Tim. And Helen goes on to say, just the counsellor seeing a patient's relative thing is enough to be sus in itself. So,
it is sus. Yeah, you can't deny that. Yeah. But it doesn't mean he's bad for Eden. It just means he's got poor work ethics. I think.
It's not cold, hard facts, isn't it? I think we were talking in the episode discussion. You need to bring the receipts, man, because that's just conjecture at this point. You know, it's someone who's made a bad choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Paul Murphy, which is Paul, get a better name. You know, everyone else has got these amazing names. Not his business anymore, says Paul. He has issues, and he's the one that needs the counselling. Angry face, angry face, angry face.
Ooh, 3 angry faces. That's a lot of angry. Okay.
3 angry faces. Doug McManus, actually, back on Twitter now, says Cash needs counselling. If only there was a counsellor nearby. Common theme of people saying Cash needs some help. Like the guy struggling.
He does need some help. Yeah. Has he had any help since Flick died?
Only a retreat to Gary's, isn't he? So perhaps that's the lesson to be learned here. Yeah. Yeah. Victoria Krankenwagen, hello, usual contributor, says, I actually had a dream the other night that Irene returned from rehab with another waif and stray in tow. And she's learned nothing from Bronte, which came from left field, so I had to include it. And she says, I know it's sad to be dreaming of home and away, but that's just me, I'm afraid.
No, we love it.
Victoria, you're not on your own.
We love it. Yes. That's an interesting dream, though. Like, because Irene's not been in it for a while, so we haven't seen her for a while. So what triggered that dream? And then I can actually imagine that happening. I can imagine her coming home with another waif, having not learnt her lesson. So
repeating the same old stuff.
Yeah, interesting.
I'll end on a comment from Facebook because they're your favourite. This is from an Anne Korstofferfien, who says, Brie, it's champagne, it's French. Where else does champagne come from, of course? It's French. The H is silent. I'm ad-libbing now. The H is silent. Cabernet. You pack a chance.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.